Last week, I activated a virtual cockpit overlay and soared over a frozen lake with digital effects surrounding me. My heart was pounding, my palms were sweating, and for the first time in my life, I experienced what it genuinely feels like to fly through a first-person perspective. Now, before you click away thinking I've lost my mind, I need you to stick with me for the next 12 minutes, because what I'm about to show you is going to completely revolutionize the way you think about drones, aerial photography, and the future of content creation. This isn't just another boring drone review. Today, I'm comparing two fundamentally different approaches to flight, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one deserves your hard-earned money. Trust me, the comparison I'm about to reveal will blow your mind, especially when we get to the footage breakdown at minute 7. But here's the thing, if you skip ahead, you'll miss the critical context that makes that comparison actually meaningful. So buckle up, hit that like button right now so you don't lose this video, and let's dive into something truly extraordinary. The experience revelation. Alright, let me paint you a picture. Imagine strapping on a pair of sleek goggles, pressing a button, and suddenly you're no longer standing in a field. You're soaring 200 feet above the ground. You turn your head left, and the entire world rotates with you. Mountains stretch endlessly to the horizon. You look down, and your stomach actually drops as you see the ground far below. This isn't VR. This isn't a video game. This is real flight happening in real time, and it's absolutely intoxicating. This is the Antigravity A1, and it represents something remarkable in the consumer drone market. The first commercially available 360-degree drone designed for mainstream consumers. I've spent the last 3 weeks putting it through its paces against the DJI Mini 5 Pro, which is widely considered the best traditional drone in this weight class. Now, full transparency, Antigravity sent me the A1 to test, but this video contains zero paid sponsorship. Nobody's telling me what to say, and I'm going to be brutally honest about both the strengths and weaknesses of each drone. Here's what most reviewers won't tell you about flying traditional drones. You spend 90% of your time staring at a tiny screen, fiddling with joysticks, trying to frame your shot correctly. It's technical, it's precise, and honestly, it can feel more like operating machinery than actually flying. The A1 flips this entire concept on its head. When you put on those goggles, everything changes. Your head becomes the camera. Look left, the view follows. Look up at the clouds, and suddenly you're gazing at the sky just like a bird would. The freedom is incredible, and it creates this visceral connection to flight that I've never experienced with any other consumer drone. Later in this video, I'm going to show you side-by-side footage that demonstrates exactly what I'm talking about. But first, we need to understand what makes these two drones so fundamentally different. Physical comparison. Let's talk hardware, because at first glance, these drones look surprisingly similar. Both are compact, foldable designs that you can easily throw in a backpack. Both have arms that fold sideways for portability. Both feature a single button interface on the body. And here's something interesting that nobody's really talking about. They both hover right around that magic 250-gram mark, but there's a crucial difference that could affect you depending on where you live. The Antigravity A1 weighs exactly 249 grams. The DJI Mini 5 Pro, approximately 252 grams. Now, I know what you're thinking. 3 grams? Who cares? But in many countries, that 250-gram threshold determines whether you need a drone license or not. The A1 stays just under the limit, which could save you money, time, and regulatory headaches depending on your local laws. It's one of those details that seems minor until it suddenly becomes the deciding factor in your purchase. But here's where things get really interesting. Flip these drones over, and you'll immediately spot the revolution. The Mini 5 Pro has a traditional camera and gimbal setup on the front. You've seen this design 1,000 times. The A1, it has 2 cameras, one facing up and one facing down, creating a complete 360-degree sphere of vision. And check this out. The bottom lens is actually vulnerable during takeoff and landing. So Antigravity engineered retractable landing gear that automatically extends before touchdown. Genius, right? Even better, if you do damage those lenses, you can replace them yourself with a replacement kit. No sending the drone back to the manufacturer. No expensive repairs. This kind of user-friendly design philosophy runs throughout the entire A1 ecosystem, and it's something I really appreciate. Now, the control systems are where these drones diverge into completely different universes. The Mini 5 Pro uses a standard RC2 controller with a built-in display, or you can opt for the RCN3, which turns your smartphone into the screen. It's conventional, it's proven, and if you've flown any DJI drone in the last 5 years, you'll feel right at home. home. The A1, however, comes with vision goggles and a grip controller that looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. Stay with me here, because this is where things get wild. Control system showdown. The vision goggles are an absolute marvel of engineering. On the inside, you've got dual displays that create an immersive viewing experience. On top, there are 2 antennas for signal transmission. But here's the brilliant part that most people miss. The outside of the goggles is functional too. The left side operates like a touchpad for navigation. The right side, it's actually a display screen that shows what you're seeing inside the goggles. This means your friends and family can watch your flight in real time, even while you're wearing the headset. Imagine taking your kids to the park, flying over the playground, and they can see exactly what you're seeing on the exterior display. It's collaborative flight, and it completely changes the social dynamic of drone flying. The grip controller is wonderfully intuitive. Press the trigger to accelerate, tilt up to climb, tilt down to descend, turn left to rotate left. It's that simple. There's this targeting reticle in your vision that moves like a mouse pointer, and the drone flies wherever you point it. I handed this controller to my friend who's never flown a drone in his life, and within a few minutes, he was navigating with growing confidence. Compare that to traditional dual-stick controllers, which have a genuine learning curve. Most beginners take considerable practice before they get comfortable. The A1's system is significantly more intuitive for newcomers. There's even an FPV mode where you control the A1 like a fighter jet. Tilt the grip controller left, the drone banks left. Tilt right, it banks right. And get this, you can activate a virtual cockpit overlay. The original document mentions this feature allows you to add visual overlays during flight, creating an enhanced immersive experience. I know, it might sound gimmicky to some, but when you're soaring over a lake with these visual enhancements in your peripheral vision, something genuinely engaging happens. It adds a layer of entertainment that transforms drone flying from a technical activity into something more playful and experiential. But let's be real about the limitations, because they exist. Setup time is longer with the A1. You're powering on 3 separate devices: the drone, the goggles, and the grip controller. The vision goggles weigh 340 grams, and while that's lighter than DJI's goggles or Apple's Vision Pro, you're still wearing something on your head. They use an external battery that hangs around your neck to reduce weight, which is smart design, but it's another thing to manage. And here's a practical limitation. The A1 can't fly backwards or sideways independently. It doesn't need to, since the camera captures everything, but it does limit certain manual flight maneuvers. Orbit shots around small subjects, challenging without using the automatic flight modes. The Mini 5 Pro, with its traditional controls, gives you more surgical precision for complex manual movements. Both approaches have trade-offs, and understanding them is crucial for making the right choice. Camera and image quality battle. Now we're getting to the heart of the matter, the footage, because ultimately, that's why we buy drones, right? To capture perspectives that would be impossible otherwise. And this is where the comparison gets really nuanced, so pay close attention because this section alone will determine which drone is right for you. The DJI Mini 5 Pro has a 1-inch sensor, a proper gimbal with extensive range of motion, and it shoots genuine 4K footage at up to 120 frames per second. It can even shoot in D-Log-M, which is a flat color profile perfect for professional color grading. The gimbal can rotate sideways for vertical shots, which is clutch for social media content. It has a 2x digital zoom that maintains impressive quality thanks to that large sensor. In low light, late evening, or night conditions, the Mini 5 Pro absolutely dominates. The dynamic range is beautiful, the detail is crisp, and you're getting true cinematic quality straight out of the camera. The A1 shoots 360-degree footage using two 1/1.28-inch sensors. The maximum video resolution is 8K at 30 frames per second for 360-degree recording. Now, here's the critical thing. Everyone needs to understand about 360 cameras. You're not actually using that full 8K resolution in your final output. You're reframing, which means you're cropping into the 360 sphere to create your final shot. The result after reframing is effectively around 2.7K to 3K resolution, not true 4K. So on paper, the effective image quality isn't as high. The field of view is also dramatically wider, which creates more distortion and means the sun is in your frame more often, leading to lens flares. But, and this is a massive but, reframing gives you superpowers. Let's say you're flying along a cliff edge and your flight path isn't perfect. With the Mini 5 Pro, that footage is what it is. You can't change the framing after the fact. With the A1, you can completely adjust the perspective in post-production. That same flight can become a forward-facing shot, a downward-facing shot looking at the rocks below, a sideways shot showing the cliff wall, or even a dramatic upward shot toward the sky. One flight, infinite possibilities. You can add roll movements, barrel rolls, and dynamic dynamic camera spins that would normally require an expensive FPV drone and months of practice. The A1 lets you create those shots with keyframes in the editing app. You can decide after the flight whether you want landscape or portrait orientation. You can track subjects automatically. The creative flexibility is genuinely game-changing, and it makes the flying experience so much less stressful. You're not desperately trying to nail the perfect maneuver in real time. You're capturing everything and then crafting the perfect shot later. I've put together a side-by-side comparison that you're seeing right now, and honestly, it's difficult to make it fair because the field of view is so different. The A1's ultra-wide perspective creates this incredible sense of speed and immersion. You feel like you're really moving. The Mini 5 Pro's longer focal length produces more traditional, cinematic framing with less distortion and the ability to get close-ups without flying dangerously near objects. Which is better? It genuinely depends on what you're creating. Action sequences, immersive travel content, first-person experiences, the A1 excels. Polished cinematic B-roll, real estate footage, professional landscape photography, the Mini 5 Pro is superior. Both have their place, and understanding your primary use case is essential. Flight performance and features. Let's talk about actual flight performance, because this is where the Mini 5 Pro starts pulling ahead in traditional metrics. Battery life on the A1 with the standard battery is 24 minutes. The Mini 5 Pro, a solid 36 minutes. That's 50% more flight time, which is significant when you're out in the field. Now, both drones offer high-capacity battery options that extend these times. The A1 can reach up to 39 minutes with the high-capacity battery, but those batteries push you over the 250-gram weight threshold, which brings back those regulatory concerns we discussed earlier. Maximum speed is another category where the Mini 5 Pro edges ahead. It can hit 18 meters per second compared to the A1's 16 meters per second. We're talking about roughly 40 miles per hour versus 36 miles per hour. In practical terms, you probably won't notice this difference often, but if you're trying to keep up with a fast-moving subject like a car or a mountain biker, those extra few miles per hour matter. Wind resistance is better on the Mini 5 Pro too. Both drones handle moderate wind well, but the Mini 5 maintains stability in stronger gusts. I tested both in moderate wind conditions, and while the A1 managed fine, the Mini 5 felt more planted and confident. If you live in a consistently windy area, this could be a deciding factor. Obstacle avoidance is interesting because both drones have it, but with different approaches. The Mini 5 Pro has sensors in multiple directions, and they even function at night using infrared. It's comprehensive protection that provides excellent safety features. The A1 has forward and downward obstacle detection sensors, but here's the thing, it can't fly backwards anyway, so you don't really need rear sensors. The sides are more exposed, which means you need to be slightly more careful in tight spaces, but the grip controller's intuitive pointing system actually makes it easier to navigate obstacles than you'd expect. Both drones have internal storage. The A1 includes 20 gigabytes, while the Mini 5 Pro offers 42 gigabytes. Both support return-to-home functionality, though DJI has refined this feature over many generations, and it's incredibly reliable. Both have active tracking, though I'd argue tracking is more useful on the Mini 5 Pro for traditional follow shots, while the A1's tracking works better within the reframing workflow. And here's something unique to the A1. It has payload detection that prevents takeoff if you attach extra weight. This is a security feature to prevent misuse for dangerous purposes. Antigravity was very intentional about ensuring this remains a recreational and creative tool, not a weapon, and I respect that responsible approach to technology. Software and post-production. The software ecosystem is where the A1 really shines, and it's crucial to understand this because it directly impacts your workflow. Both drones come with mobile apps, but the experience is dramatically different. The DJI Fly app is clean, functional, and straightforward. You can fly, adjust settings, review footage, and even do basic edits. It works well for what it is, but it's designed around the assumption that you'll export your footage and edit elsewhere for serious projects. The Antigravity mobile app is essentially identical to Insta360's app, which makes sense because this is proven, refined software. It has auto-edit, features, tracking capabilities, dozens of templates, and a full editor built right in. But more importantly, it has special effects specifically designed for 360 footage. You can add cinematic slow-motion ramps, invisible transitions, perspective warps, and dynamic reframing that would take hours to accomplish in traditional editing software. And then there's the desktop app, which is a complete game changer. It's also identical to Insta360 Studio app, and if you've used that before, you'll be immediately comfortable here. The desktop app gives you precise keyframe control for reframing, advanced color correction, and the ability to export in multiple aspect ratios simultaneously. I can take one flight, reframe it 3 different ways, one for YouTube, one for Instagram, one for TikTok, and export all 3 versions in one batch. That efficiency is incredible for content creators. The learning curve for reframing does exist, but it's honestly much easier than you'd think. The auto-edit features handle 90% of scenarios beautifully. For the remaining 10% where you want complete creative control, the manual keyframing becomes intuitive after about 30 minutes of experimentation. And here's something people don't talk about enough. The A1 goggles can play back your 360 footage in full immersive VR. You can relive your flights at home, looking around freely as if you're flying again. You can even load movies onto an SD card and watch them on a virtual giant screen. This transforms the goggles from a flying tool into an entertainment device, which adds significant value beyond just drone operation. Price, value, and recommendations. Alright, let's talk money, because this is probably what you've been waiting for. The Antigravity A1 standard bundle retails for approximately $1,600 or around 1,400 euros in Europe. The DJI Mini 5 Pro is noticeably cheaper at around 800 euros for the standard bundle in Europe. US pricing and availability for the Mini 5 Pro may vary by retailer and region, but you're generally looking at roughly half the price for the Mini 5 Pro compared to the A1. That's a significant price difference. And it raises the obvious question. Is the A1 worth double the money? The answer depends entirely on what you value. The high-quality vision goggles, the grip controller, the dual-camera 360 system, these are premium components that justify the higher price point. But justification and personal value are 2 different things. Here's my honest recommendation, and I want you to really think about your primary use case. If image quality is your absolute top priority, if you're shooting professional real estate footage, if you need cinematic B-roll for client work, or if you're building a portfolio for commercial purposes, the Mini 5 Pro is the better choice. The larger sensor, better low-light performance, higher effective resolution, and professional color profiles make it the clear winner for traditional aerial cinematography. The longer battery life and more refined flight features are icing on the cake, and the lower price point makes it accessible for most people. However, if you want the most exciting, engaging, immersive flying experience available today, if you're creating content for social media where dynamic movement and unique perspectives matter more than absolute image quality, if you want to share the joy of flight with friends and family through the external display, or if you're simply fascinated by new technology and want to be on the cutting edge, the A1 is absolutely worth the investment. This drone makes flying fun again. It removes the technical barriers that make traditional drones feel like work, and the creative possibilities through reframing are genuinely revolutionary. For families, the A1 might actually be the better choice despite the higher price, because the intuitive controls make it more accessible. Your kids can learn to use it. Your spouse can use it. The learning curve is significantly reduced compared to traditional drones. For solo content creators focused on maximum image quality, the Mini 5 Pro makes more sense. For adventurers and experience seekers, the A1 delivers something genuinely unique, an immersive first-person flying experience. I know that sounds abstract, but until you've worn those goggles and looked around while soaring over a canyon, you won't fully understand what I mean. It's transformative. So here's the bottom line. We're watching 2 different philosophies of flight compete in real time. The DJI Mini 5 Pro represents the refinement of traditional drone technology. It's polished, proven, and produces absolutely gorgeous footage. It's the safe choice, and there's nothing wrong with safe when it means you're getting excellent results. The Antigravity A1 represents revolution. It's the first step into a completely new category of flight experience. And even though it has limitations compared to traditional drones, it offers something genuinely magical that no amount of specs can capture. I've been testing drones for over 7 years, and the A1 made me feel like I was discovering flight for the first time. That childlike wonder, that pure joy of seeing the world from above while feeling connected to the experience. It's rare, it's valuable, and it's worth considering even if the specs don't perfectly align with your checklist. Both drones are linked in the description below with the best current pricing I could find. I'm also dropping a complete beginner's tutorial for the A1 next week, so make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you don't miss it. If this video helped you make a decision, smash that like button right now. It genuinely helps more people discover these comparisons. Drop a comment telling me which drone you're leaning toward and why. I read every single comment, and I love hearing about your specific use cases and needs. The future of drones isn't just about better cameras and longer flight times. It's about democratizing the experience of flight itself, making it accessible, intuitive, and joyful for everyone. Whether you choose the refined excellence of the Mini 5 Pro or the revolutionary experience of the A1, you're getting an incredible piece of technology that will change how you see the world. Now get out there, fly safely, and create something amazing. I'll see you in the next one.